sunk into my stomach. And it really scared me, and I said, am I a member? No. Would you like to be? You know, I had to think about that, because at this time, I think you had to be 19 years old to buy cigarettes. I'm 12 years old. You have to be 18 to buy porn. I'm still 12. I think you had to be 19 to buy booze. I'm still 12. I don't know where to get illegal drugs. I'm still 12. And I'm having sex pretty much every day, but definitely on the weekends. If I quit, I'm going to lose that. What do I have to do? Well, there's 13 steps to becoming a Satanist. And shockingly, I have done almost all of them already. The remaining steps I had to do. This happened when I was 13. I had to slice my thumb and bleed onto a document. Sign it in my blood in 3 places. The blood of Jesus washes away all sin, but not mine. Jesus died for everyone, but not me. On the final page of a 5-page document, I agreed to sell my soul to the devil. How many people, other than this person, believes you can sell your soul to the devil?
About half the people raise their hands.
Okay. What kind of car do you drive?
Elantra.
How many people can legally sell me his Elantra?
We have one hand way in the back, in the kitchen.
Why not? It's his car. Right. You don't own it. That's the same reason you can't sell your soul. You don't own it. You might have heard this somewhere in the Bible, but God died for you. Jesus paid the ultimate price for your soul. You can't loan it. You can't lease it. You can't let somebody borrow it. You certainly can't sell it. But you might have heard the devil is a liar. That he is. The devil tells you, good morning, get a second opinion. You can give your will to the devil. How do you think you get that back? Confession. One of the best gifts we got. You go to confession, your will goes back to God. And guess what? The devil loses again. Not as bad as when the Blessed Mother crushes his head, but still, he loses again. But, do you think I knew that at 13 years old? Well, you know, at 13 years old, you know everything. So, no, I didn't know that. So, I had to dress in a white robe. It signifies that you're losing your innocence. I was baptized, full submersion, in a vat of human blood, pig's blood, and human urine. Went into another room, I took a shower, I came back out in a black robe with the cowl raised. It signifies that you've been baptized into a world of evil. I sit in a chair and they hand me a wheel. It's about this big. It has a crucifix in it. You spin the crucifix upside down, showing human sacrifice. You take the arms of the crucifix and you break them downward, denouncing Christ. They read the document that you signed the night before. You show them your thumb so they can see that it's your blood. You truly signed it in your blood. And then they have a party celebrating that you're now a Satanist. Now the reality of that is that you're celebrating one day you're going to die and go to hell. But to you, you're celebrating that you're now a Satanist. Everybody shared with me their Book of Shadows. Book of Shadows is the book that you keep of all your magic spells. If I do magic one way, Jack would do it a different way. You need to go to confession, Jack.
I always need to go there.
Amen, me too. So, everybody that does magic does it a different way. Everybody has a Book of Shadows. Everybody shared their books with me. I thought magic was the greatest thing in the world. I was the main practitioner of my coven. The main practitioner wears a red robe. Everyone else wears black. I wanted that red robe. When I was 14 years old, my coven, one of my members came to me and said, we want you to participate in an abortion. First of all, we're going to have a sex party at a girl's house. She's going to be 19 years old. We're going to do it with all the male members between 12 and 15. You're one of those. And then later, you're going to participate in a late-term abortion. I was like, cool. And I went home and I looked up the word abortion because I had no idea what that meant. I had a dictionary, an old Webster dictionary. The word abortion was not in it. So I didn't know what it was still. I went to the library. They had 2 books on abortion. They were both about this thick. And I'm 13 years old or 14 years old. I ain't reading that to find out what abortion is. So I went back and I said, I heard I got to participate in an abortion. I don't know what that means. He goes, oh, you're killing a baby in the womb. I was like, is that legal? Oh yeah, in the womb, legal, out of the womb, murder. All right, so they had me practice with a ball of Play-Doh and a scalpel. All I have to do is stab. I don't know if I'm really stabbing the baby or not. I don't have any blood left in my system, it's all adrenaline. There's a bunch of women, nude on the floor, swaying, chanting our bodies ourselves. But by the time the abortion is time to be done, their eyes are either completely white or completely black, and they all look like they're possessed. They're just swaying and chanting. We've got men there doing a spell the whole time. We have 13 high priests and priestesses around this woman, and I'm there in my red robe. We have an abortion doctor and abortion nurse. I stab a few times. I'm told to be very careful. I'm not there to hurt the woman. My job is to get blood on my hands. Now that could be the woman's blood or the baby's blood. I don't know whose blood I got, and I'm wearing gloves. I get the blood on my hands. I pull my hands out. The abortion doctor sticks in what looks like scissors with a curved barb of teeth. He reaches his hands in, he reaches his tool in, and he starts ripping. And parts of the body of this baby are ripped out. He throws it to the women on the floor, and they cannibalize. Everything but the bones. Hard as that sounds to hear, hard as that is to picture, a few of my abortions were like that. And abortions happen like that in Planned Parenthood every day. Now, back when I was a high wizard, which is, I'm getting ahead of myself here. When I was a high wizard, I arrived in an abortion clinic one day with my entourage. We were going to do an abortion. And there's a group of people on the other side of the street, a bunch of people standing there, and they're protesting. On my side of the street is a Satanic biker gang. They're flipping cigarettes over there, they're grabbing their crotch, they're baring their breasts, they're mooning the people, flipping them off. It's a pretty rude scene. I don't care, I'm just there, I got an abortion to do, I got a job to do. I'm the main magic practitioner. We walk inside and upstairs. In this particular abortion clinic, it looked like somebody went into this room with roller skates and a bucket of blood and spun around in a circle real fast. Blood was even on the ceiling. I go in there, we're getting ready to do this abortion. Doctor's there, nurse, my entire abortion crew, my satanic crew. We were outside, we're upstairs, and there's these large jalousie windows. And the people across the street drop to their knees, and they've got these prayer ropes, prayer chains, worry beads, I don't know what they are. And they're chanting something. We're Satanists, we chant. Can't tell what they're saying. So we crank this jalousie window up, and I'm there with my handler. Your handler brings you your sins and your drugs and your booze. Whatever your sins are, this is the guy that brings it. And we're listening to what they're saying. And I repeat back what I hear. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. My handler repeats back what he hears. Holy Mary, Mother of God. And we both stop. We're like, Mother of God. Whatever. And then he says the rest of it, and we laugh. And then they start over. Now close the window back up. And now it's time to do the abortion. And I go back over. I'm all ready for this. I've done a bunch of these by now. And I've had a couple of them fail. I go over there, and the doctor checks. And he's like, "You're not even dilated." And she's like, "Yes, I am. I was just dilated. I was ready to go. It's a late-term abortion. I'm ready. Let's do this." And he's like, "Well, you're wasting our time. We're not ready." She's cussing him, asking him, "Is this your first abortion?" She looks at me, she says, "Is this your first rodeo too?" It's like, no, but he's the doctor. You know, she's like, "You better get in there. It's ready. It's on the way." So I check. I can't tell her if she's dilated. I don't even know. I barely know what that means. So I'm like, the baby's not there. She goes, "It's in the birth canal. It's coming now." Like, no, it's not. Doc, you need to go ahead and do whatever you're going to do. He does it. He's like, "No, you're not even dilated. There's nothing going on. Somebody needs to," he's talking about drugs that need to be administered or other things, and that we could go, we could leave, and we could probably be gone for 6 or 8 hours before she's ready. You know, I'm like, you know, I'm busy. I got stuff to do. I'm the high wizard. This is important. I got stuff to do. What's going on? He checks one more time. She's cussing us up a blue streak. She's just going. We're standing there talking for about 30 more seconds, and we hear a baby cry. And we look down, baby came out. There was no baby there. Now, for that baby to get out that fast, that baby had to be there. But not to us. When the Protestants make fun of you for praying a rosary, give them one. Give them a card that shows them how to pray. When I was the high wizard, every spell you do as a high wizard, you have to write a report on what you did. You also write down if it's successful or if it failed. As the high wizard, I pulled every failed report of abortions to see, because at that point, I had 3 that failed. Why were they failing? And I read hundreds of reports. And everybody said prayer chains, prayer ropes, prayer beads, worry beads. No one called it a rosary. If everybody would have said rosary, that would have clued me in that something was going on. But everybody called them something different. But what happened was, in every failed abortion, there were people nearby praying a rosary. Shockingly, that's a Catholic devotion. So it's all of us that were ruining abortions for Satanists. So let's go back. I'm 15 years old. I just committed, 3 months before I turned 15, I committed my first assisted abortion. Now, a few years ago, I gave my talk to somebody at an event, and a priest told me that my talk was age appropriate for 15 and up. Now, my problem with that is that by the time I was 15, I was addicted to pain pills, I was addicted to sex, I was addicted to pornography, I smoked marijuana every day, I was drunk every day, I took acid every weekend, I took mushrooms every day. I had broken all 10 commandments, including murder. And now I'm old enough to hear my own talk. I'm not saying your kids are as bad as me. And let's hope not. But your kids are not as innocent as you might think they are. Where do you think your kids go when they want to know the answer to something? They either go to kids their own age, and what do they know? They know the same as all the other kids their age. Or they go to the internet, which tells them everything is groovy, go ahead and do it. Wouldn't you rather them get it from you? You don't have to give them my talk, but you should listen to my talk. and put it in your words that you know they would understand. I kept doing magic. I kept doing heinous things till I was 18 years old. When I graduated high school, I was going to college. I wanted to join another satanic coven, but this is before the internet. I said that today too, and they were like, what? There's no smartphones, there's no tablets, there's none of that stuff, there's no laptops. I told them today, you wanted to go to see a computer, you had to go to NASA, and it ran on vacuum tubes that burned out every 15 minutes. They looked at me like I was crazy. So, they're not going to advertise a satanic coven in the town square. So how did I find it? I found it because they advertised it in the town square. I was going to Florida State, FSU, Tallahassee, Florida. And they had the Catholic and the Baptist Student Union, the Republican and the Democrat and the Monarchy Party, that's a fun one, Student Union, and the Satanic Student Union. And these are a bunch of kids away from home for the first time, and they think Satanism is all about getting drunk, getting high, getting laid. I've been doing that since I was 12. I don't need a satanic coven for that. And these guys are making up magic spells on the spot. All right, I'm not really interested. I heard there was a satanic coven out there to rule the world. That would be awesome. I want to rule the world. So I called my first coven. I asked them this is what I'm looking for. How do I find these guys? They're like, that's Satan's World Church or World Church of Satan. Here's the address, here's the phone number. Go meet up with these guys. All right. So I went and I met with these guys. And after I'd been there a couple of meetings, well, when I was 13 years old, I was at a sleepover at my satanic coven. And one night, I saw this guy. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm up to get a drink of water and go to the bathroom. This guy's dressed in like a tuxedo with a top hat. He's got a wand. His face is painted up. Corpse paint on his face. He looks like a rock star. He looks like Kiss, but in a tuxedo. That was awesome. And the next day I asked, hey, what's this? You dreamed that. Okay. All right. This adult's going to lie to me. I'll just find out one day. So one day happened when I was 18. I saw that same look at a party. And I grabbed this guy next to me. I said, who is that? What is that? How can I do that? He was like, who ran your coven? I was like, my coven was run by 13 high priests and priestesses. He's like, well, a lot of people say they're the high priest or priestess because they believe that's the highest position there is, but it's not. Our coven is run by a CEO and board of directors, and the main magic practitioner is the high wizard. I was like, how do I do that? I don't know. All right. So one day, I got called in to the CEO and board of directors. Turned out I was going to be the next high wizard. I was 21 years old. The high wizard is handpicked by Satan. Cool. That's what I want. My job, I worked with the Illuminati for 12 years. Yeah, they're real. My job was to help rock stars sell their souls. Now, in case you're wondering, do they really do that kind of stuff? Well, I'll give you a little-known rock star. You may not have ever heard of her. Anybody know Lady Gaga? Yeah. Lady Gaga did a video recently, a movie. It's on Netflix. There's some excerpts taken out of that you can look up, where she admits that she sold her soul through the Illuminati to a satanic cult, and that now she's looking to get exorcism. I'll give you another one. You might have heard of her, you may not have, because she's barely known. Katy Perry? Katy Perry? Katy Perry's in a YouTube video saying that her parents were evangelists, and she wanted to become the next Amy Grant, but she failed. So she sold her soul to the devil. I'll give you another one. I'll give you a guy. You probably have to be a certain age or older to remember Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan appeared on 60 Minutes and admitted that he sold his soul to the devil. Now that's 3 examples of thousands. If you were a rock star between 1987 and 1999, I made you famous. I got you a contract. That was my job. I helped you sell your soul to the devil. And rock stars aren't the smartest people, apparently, because you can't really do that, but they think they can. They're famous. You ever hear about a rock star that, I mean, like, these people are worth millions of dollars. They got 15 cars in every garage. They got a huge house. They got everything. But you hear they've been in counseling for 20 years. Or they've hung themselves because they can't stand their life anymore. Or they're alcoholics, or they're drug addicts, or they wrap their Porsche around a tree. You know why that is? Because it takes a lot of drugs and a lot of alcohol to forget how you got to be where you are. I would do what's called a warehouse deal. I show up at a big warehouse. It's bigger than a super Walmart. And there's all these people there that want to be famous. Everybody wants to be a rock star. I come in there, I'm dressed as the High Wizard. Now the High Wizard look is that look I described. You want to see that look somewhere? Go to YouTube, look up Pink Like a Pill, and in her video, she has a High Wizard that shows up 4 times. In the last 3 and 4th time you see him, he's doing a magic spell. I go to these warehouse deals. I ask, who wants to be famous? Everybody says they do. So I ask the person, what are you willing to do to be famous? Everybody says everything. They'd do anything to be famous. I'm like, what do you mean by anything? Most people have a line in the sand they draw. They say, well, I wouldn't do anything with animals or children. Well, that's not who Satan wants. Satan doesn't want the person that draws a line in the sand. He wants the person willing to jump in the mud and be drugged through it. So I would give that guy or girl a Tier 2 card. It's a little card. It's a business card. It has a phone number on it. They call that number. Now, whatever they do there, that's up to them. But 2 rock stars were suicided out last year. That's just a fancy term for meaning they were murdered. It made it look like suicide. Chris Cornell was one. He's kind of famous. The other one, I don't remember his name, but he was in Lincoln Park. Because they were going to reveal pedophile scandal. But before they could do it, they were murdered. There's a pedophile scandal that deals with this Tier 2 card and what you have to do to become famous. That's those people that want to be drugged through the mud and are willing to do anything to be famous. I did that for 12 years. I did spells for rock stars, actors, kings, queens, presidents, billionaires, millionaires. Anybody that could afford my coven, I would do these things. Now, in the course of my evil, I helped split 120 Baptist churches. I helped commit 146 assisted abortions. I equate my sin with working in a candy store. Now, not a candy store in the mall, but I mean like a freestanding building, a giant candy store. And all that candy is all the sins that exist in the world. And you look at it in that candy store, your first day on the job, and you're like, how long is it going to take me to try every piece of candy? Now, not the licorice, because no one wants that. There are certain sins you're never going to do, because they're gross. You're not going to do those sins, but everything else, yeah, everything else is fair game. Well, after 6 months, you've tried all the candy you want to try. And after a year, you've tried the licorice. Because after a while, sins become a little boring, a little stale, and you're willing to try something different. After a while, you come to wonder, how come your boss can't make a new sin? How come there's no new sins? How come there's no new candy? Everything is old and stale. Oh wait, something new is out. That's awesome. Look at that wrapper. It's beautiful. And you rip it open, and it's the same old candy in a new wrapper. A new drug comes out. It's awesome. It's crack cocaine. I'm going to try that. It's nothing new. It's still cocaine. It's not new. How come the devil can't make something new? How come all the sins that exist now have always been around? You know, and after a while, you're doing every sin under the sun because you've always done it, not because you like it. You know, when you can sin all you want, it's boring. There's not enough booze in the world to make you feel good about yourself. There's not enough drugs. You'll OD first. Porn gets old after a while. Sex gets old after a while. You know, I had like 1,000 albums. I converted them all to being CDs, and I got 5,000. I got 10,000. It's never enough. 10,000 DVDs, it's not enough. Home theater system isn't big enough or powerful enough, you get another one, still not big enough or powerful enough. Your apartment's not big enough, you get a bigger one. It's not big enough, you get a bigger house. It's not big enough. You have a car, it's super awesome. Now, I had my Satanic cars, where I had 12 of them, and I got my Lamborghini Diablo, but I had my real car. I drove a Nissan Sentra, used Nissan Sentra, because those millions of dollars that I'm raking in, I don't get to keep that. I've got a bunch of suits, custom. I've got Italian suits, none of them are mine. My real clothes are rock and roll t-shirts and blue jeans. The devil sells you an illusion, and then you use that illusion to bring more people into your satanic coven. That's not really who you are. The millions of dollars I have in the bank isn't mine. It's an illusion. My Lamborghini Diablo looks like it's in my name, but it's not really my car. Nothing that I present to the world is mine. I have the real me, and I have my illusion. And after a while, I don't want to do this anymore. But I don't know how to get out, because the ways that I know to leave, I can commit suicide, I can die of natural causes, or I can be murdered. And all three of those options take me to hell, because I sold my soul when I was 13. So I planned my escape. And I escape. I drive to a satanic doctor, but I stay on the highway and I just keep going. I drive for hours until I ran out of gas. And then I hitchhiked to another town, sold my car for scrap, bought a Greyhound bus ticket, and went to Canada. Got rejected at the border. They asked me where I wanted to go, anywhere in the nation. So I went to Oklahoma, for no reason. I opened up a United States atlas, closed my eyes, and put my finger down. I grew up Baptist, so that's the Protestant thing. What does God want to tell me today? Oklahoma. So I moved to Oklahoma. I lived there for 3 years. I eventually bought a car, and I drove to Canada. I got rejected at the border. All right. A friend told me there's a place near Burlington, Vermont, and there's no border crossing there. You just drive right across. There's no guard. Good deal. So I drove that way. I was plenty rested, but I was exhausted all of a sudden. So I pulled over at a rest stop and I took a nap. Figured I'll sleep for a couple of hours, wake up, and drive across. I took a nap, I woke up, it was the next day. Who knew I was going to sleep for like 16 hours? All right, whatever. So I drove across the border, and I got stopped by a border guard. Not supposed to be anybody there. pulls me over, and that's God calling. He's saying, turn off your phone. So this guy tells me for 3 hours while he searches my car, inside and out, top to bottom, that this is his very first day on the job. He's been trying to get this job for 3 years. And the first thing I thought was, God's got a sense of humor. So I'm worth $18 and have half a tank of gas. I drove into Vermont, and I lived in Burlington, Vermont. I eventually got a job at a store called Piercing Pagoda in the mall. And one day, I was working, I was a manager there. My sales are second to none. My sales are top notch. This woman comes up, she wants to buy a pair of gold tooth earrings. We're just about, the money's just about to change hands. And she says, you know, actually I'm shopping with my daughter. When I'm done, I'll come back and I'll buy them. Now, as I said, my sales are second to none. I can read people really well. I know that when a woman says that, what she means is, I'm gonna go find it cheaper someplace else. But she had an honest face. This was the first woman, I knew she was coming back. 3 hours later, she came back. We did the deal, and I said, if you call the 800 number on this receipt, take a survey, you might win $1,000. And she's like, oh, I've got something for you too. And she reaches in her purse, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no. She's gonna pull out a Jack Chick pamphlet, telling me that I'm sinning, I'm going to hell, I need to turn my back on the devil and face God, and blah, 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 blah. I can't do any of that stuff, I sold my soul. But I know better than to say that to these evangelical types, because they'll follow you home trying to evangelize people. Whatever. I'll swear I'm going to read it, because just like the devil, I'm going to be 99% truth and 1% lie. And that 1% lie, I'm going to take that pamphlet and throw it in the trash. I don't care. Instead, she pulls out a little gold disc. I don't have any idea what that is. It's a blessed miraculous metal, but I don't know that. And she says the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life. Now, I party with rock stars. You take somebody that can write poetry and can write songs, and you pump them full of unlimited booze and drugs, and they will say some strange stuff. I partied with these people. But if you doubt that rock stars say strange stuff, when you leave here tonight, turn on your radio. Listen to rock and roll songs. The weirdest one that I can think of, and this is an awesome song, is Barracuda by Heart. It's like a love song about a dolphin. That's crazy. Or, the example I gave earlier today, a song came out by Kid Rock in 1999, I think. That was his breakout song. Now when you do your breakout song, this is the best song you can do. This is the one that will either break you or launch you into superstardom. This was the #1 song of the year when it came out. Bow to Bob. The lyrics of Bow to Bob for the chorus is, remember, this is the best he ever wrote. This was the #1 song of the year. Bow to Bob, to dang, diggy diggy, up jump the boogie. You got no room to laugh because we all made it #1. That dumb song was the #1 song of the year. That beat out everything else. I mean, that shows you how stupid everything else was. That woman said something to me that was crazier than Bow to Bob. She said, the Blessed Mother is calling you into her army. I grew up Baptist. Blessed Mother. Isis? Gaia? Aphrodite? I don't have any idea. You have to understand that growing up Baptist, do you know how many titles we have for Mary? 0. 0. Do you know how many things Mary did in the Bible? She gave birth to Jesus. You know what else she did? Nothing. That wedding at Cana didn't happen in the Baptist Bible because we never heard about it. So I don't have any idea. And then she says it's very powerful. You know how many things the Baptist church blesses? 0. So this woman represents some female deity cult. I came from a big cult. In 1989, my cult had 1.1 million members worldwide. I don't know how big her cult is, but I'm not interested. And then she starts going on and on and on about something, but I tuned her out. I stopped listening. My mind actually went to my happy place, and I just stood there and kind of stared at her, but I'm not listening to anything she's saying. And I just thought, how do they all find me? There must be a giant neon sign above my head that only crazy people can see. And it says, crazy, come here. An arrow points down to me. And eventually I tuned her back in. She said again it was very powerful. Well, I took that as a challenge. When I was the High Wizard, there's between 2 and 5 in the world. The number could be as low as 1 or as high as 10. That means at one time, I could have been the only one High Wizard out of 7 billion people. That's an ego trip and a half. My ego is bigger than this building. So I'm going to take this from her, and I'm going to toss it on the floor or slam it on my counter and tell her it's worthless. She got no power. There's no mystique to this. This can do nothing to me. And if she decides she's offended and she wants to return the gold and get her money back, do that. And if you want to call my boss and complain, you do that, because my sales rock. My boss is never going to believe I insulted you. I can get away with murder. So I stick my hand down. I'm all ready. She drops it in my hand, and I clench my fist around it, all ready to tell her this stuff, except that when I clench my fist around it, my store and my mall completely disappeared. And I'm standing in a darkened void, and it's me and this woman that gave me the medal. And she tells me about the magic spell I did last night and ended it with, and that's of the devil. And then she tells me about the 100 plus abortions I did, and those are of the devil. And she tells me about the 100 plus churches I broke up, and that's of the devil. She told me about 9 or 10 other sins and ended every statement with, and that's of the devil. I am terrified. Let's go back to, I could have been the only High Wizard out of 7 billion people. I did not have the magical power and strength to hand somebody I don't know a worthless piece of tin, colored gold, transport both of us to a darkened void, and know all their sins. That's not my power. Her magic is stronger than mine. I was the High Wizard. I'm terrified. I want to let go. But what happens if I let go and I fall through this darkened void and I don't find my way back? What happens if I stay in this darkened void forever and I never find my way back? What happens if my magic doesn't work here? I don't know what to do. And this woman says again, the Blessed Mother is calling you into her army. But this time when she said that, I knew that was the Mother of God. And when I realized that was the Mother of God, Mary appeared. She smiled at me. This is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. This woman came from heaven to see me. And she gave me a smile that I did not deserve. I was acutely aware of my 146 assisted abortions. And she took me by the hand that had the medal in it. And she turned me around. Divine Mercy Jesus was standing behind me. I didn't know what Divine Mercy was. And these rays of light are shooting out of Jesus' chest. and they're going around me and over me and under me and through me. And I knew in that instant, I did not sell my soul to the devil when I was 13. I knew that Jesus Christ was my Lord and Savior. I knew that my magic, my occult, my Satanism, all my New Age was a one big box of crap. And I knew that everything Catholic was truth. And the Blessed Mother told me that my job was to help her end abortion. And I opened my hand. I was back in my store, back in my mall. This woman's still talking to me. She sends her daughter out to the truck to bring me one of each of everything. I wasn't Catholic yet. I didn't know how much stuff that was. She tells me that she works for the St. Raphael Healing Oil Ministry, Father Joe Whalen. Father Joe is the busiest priest she's ever met. She is the personal assistant to Father Joe. He doesn't even have time to talk to her, he's so busy. While she's talking to me, her cell phone rings. She looks at it, she goes, Father Joe, I gotta take this call. Yeah, sure, go ahead. You know, he just told me he's the busiest priest you know. At that time, Father Joe was in his mid to late 70s. He was going deaf. So he talked like everyone else was going deaf. She gets on the phone, she's like, yes, Father Joe, what can I help you with? Can you hand the phone to the young man you're talking to? He's like, certainly, Father Joe. And she hands me the phone. I'm shaking like Ozzy Osbourne, because how does this guy know? You know, I take the phone, I'm like, hello? Welcome to the faith. Hand the phone back to Mary Ann. Thank you, Father. I hand the phone back. I get 2 more phone calls, similarly, 2 other people in that ministry. Her daughter comes back in, and I've got a paper grocery bag. It's like this Catholic care package that was awesome. It's got like 120 Lighthouse Catholic media discs and pamphlets, why do Catholics do this or believe that, and a Catholic Bible. And I didn't know the difference in that and the Protestant Bible. What I did know is that it seemed heavier. Some people got it, okay. Right. You ever notice, I'll just bring it this way. You ever notice how that sometimes the Protestants evangelize to you, and they just rattle off those Bible verses like bam, 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 bam. And you're like, our CIA didn't, you know, I don't know what to do. You know, and it's like, and then, you know, while you're trying to think of just one Bible verse that you can say, they're just spouting off another 15 or 20 verses. And, you know, and you're like, you know, none of the Catholic classes that I took, I didn't learn apologetics. I don't know. It's not your fault. The Bible's easier to memorize. It's shorter. The rest of you got it, okay? So I started working a little bit for St. Raphael. I traveled with them for about 1.5 years. Then the Blessed Mother told me that my job was to start my own ministry. I needed a name for it. I needed a cool name for it. She didn't say a cool name. I just thought, I need a cool name for it. Well, I took Benedict as my confirmation name. You're like, I was given this medal in January of 2008. I came into the Catholic Church in May of 2008. But, I mean, what am I going to do? I mean, I need to come up with a cool name. Well, St. Benedict. But, well, I kind of like Padre Pio also. And then, I learned about this guy, this really cool cat. His name is Blessed Bartolo Longo. Yeah. He had been a Satanist and a Satanic high priest. And then he became Catholic and became a Catholic priest. And then he was worried that he was going to go to hell because he'd been a Satanist. And the Blessed Mother appeared to him and said, anybody who propagates the rosary won't go to hell. I was like, that's cool. But then I also liked the Blessed Mother. She rescued me. Then I was thinking, all right, St. Benedict, Padre Pio, Blessed Bartolo Longo, Blessed Mother Ministry. Doesn't quite roll off the tongue. And then almost every day I met new saints. There was new stuff happening, new saints being made. You know, like St. Faustina was awesome. And St. Pope John Paul II. And there were just millions. The world is all about inclusion. All Saints Catholic Ministry. So All Saints Catholic Ministry started in 2010, and that enables me to travel the world and meet awesome people like you. Thank you very much for having me.
Facebook Live, we're still going Facebook Live, audience. Thank you, Facebook Live. Who has the first question for Zachary King? And I asked Zachary to repeat each question so it can be heard clearly for our Facebook Live audience. Yes.
I have two questions, actually. One is with baptism, like, people that we know that aren't baptized, are they like much more vulnerable to being caught up in? Is there a safety net with us being baptized? I'm sure I know there's some significance to being baptized. I know that for a fact, but I have relatives that have not been baptized that concern me about being caught up. You know, I'll just do videos about kids being caught up in the Dungeons and Dragons and the Harry Potter and things like this. It seems to me that I'm looking for a way to explain to a friend or a nephew or whatever about baptizing their kids. And I was wondering if there's any input. There's two parts of that. It's also going and reading the palms. You know, like, why is that? Can you give me a good answer of why that is not, like, why you should be baptized and why it's not good to be involved with reading the palms and getting your fortune told?
All right, so why is it a good idea to be baptized is one question, and then why is it not a good idea to do satanic practices or New Age practices like palm reading or psychic readings, things like that? For one, in the Bible, we have a good example of Jesus being baptized, which seems like that would be an example that all of us would want to do it. And we're told that without baptism, we're doomed in a sense. But what baptism does for us is that it kind of gives you that extra layer of protection. That if you're not baptized, you don't have that. You know, there's so many examples of people that are not baptized that fall into a worse and worse predicament. And a lot of times you can trace those things back to, you can look at people that were baptized that have a level of protection, and it's something that you can see. You know, I would think that the main example is that the Bible tells you to do it. You know, and in the Catholic Church, we see it different than the Protestants. The Protestants think that you should wait till your age of reason and make your conscious decision to do it. The problem with that is that people oftentimes die, and we believe that without baptism, you don't go to heaven. You don't end up in purgatory. And that it shouldn't matter who baptizes you and if it's your decision or not. That's why we baptize as infants. You know, everybody needs that level of protection. Now the other thing is considered the left-handed path. You're trying to find an answer without the help of God. So you're trying to put yourself, you're trying to elevate yourself to God's position. So it, in one hand, falls under, in a sense, idolatry. However, it also falls under the 33 verses in the Bible that tell you not to do magical things, and that these are mortal sins. It's a mortal sin to do these things. You know, we have, and I'm sure you guys have these as well, an examination of conscience form. It only lists mortal sins. These are the things that send you to hell. And doing magical things like that, that is one of those mortal sins. Now, you mentioned Harry Potter, and two little fun facts about the Harry Potter series. One is that J.K. Rowling's admitted that 1/3 of her research went into occult books because she wanted authentic magic spells in her books and in the movies. Now, from being the High Wizard and practicing magic, I can tell you the spells are all real, they're legitimate. However, here's my other fun fact. Who can tell me, who's brave enough to volunteer this, who can tell me who wrote Harry Potter?